Romania at 7:25 Eastern Time. The final from New Jersey, 1-0. Ireland a winner.
If you're fed up with high prices on cars like the...
Miola is waving to the crowd. It's 2-1, the United States. Did you think it would be easy, Seamus? It's never easy.
It's never easy. It's never easy.
People walking around before the game saying, if only Romania could beat Switzerland. That's the result we'd like to have. If only they could do that. That would make Sunday easier. It would make today easier.
They need to keep possession here, not worry too much about trying to get on goal, but Tad Ramos is the guy you want on the ball in this position.
Well, the last 15 minutes of the game have been played down in the U.S. end. This is really the first time for any length of time the ball has been down toward the Colombian end. As now an extra nearly 2 minutes.
This game has got to be over. There hasn't been really many.
There it is! There it is!
Historia de los mundiales. Vamos a la pausa, ya volvemos.
The United States has defeated Colombia 2-1 at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, in front of a crowd of better than 92,000 who are standing and cheering this United States team, which has done what many people thought would be impossible. They have defeated the Colombians, one of the pre-tournament favorites for this championship. And that man, the captain, Tony Miola, came up big so many times today, but he had a staunch defense in front of him. And you have to feel so good for all of these guys that have toiled in anonymity for so long in a sport that's foreign to many in this country to this day, that on this bright, sunshiny afternoon in Pasadena, California, they can come up with the biggest, or one of the biggest wins in U.S. soccer history. And that was the moment for Tony Miola.
Well, it is a great victory for the United States. Tremendous victory. Having been here for 36 years, this is a moment I thought would never come. I can't believe it.
And Peter, congratulations to you too. You're a part of this team.
Thank you very much.
We will come back.
It only happens.
As he got
Hey!
Talking to this!
Look at me, I'm decorated! Happy homecoming!
Chris is Mr. Bull! I usually only bring this out for the parade,
But I'm ready for the parade now.
oh my god, that reminds me of Jason Miller. Remember the band? No, remember the bandages? He had that nurse bandage him. I'm trying to get him to do it again, but these balloons are huge. Have you seen how big these things are? You know how big these balloons are. I don't know. But I'm thinking we need to get a big garbage bag and
back here, look. We have a task for you this year.
this is the man right here. What? No, I'm gonna bother everyone with this.
Here, you can use this, Jason.
Hey, all right.
Doing, doing.
Yeah, that's perfect, Jay. Right there for you. I know. You see how far he has to turn? It's just like I just barely turned on.
Barely. I was playing it before. I was seeing it way over there on the other side of Bill's house.
Right.
And it was like hurting my ears over there.
Right. Yeah? MacGyver. We'll get the we'll get the neighbors to throw us out of here. Yes. Will happen. Hillary's running away from me.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you, Ryan?
Hillary, are you gonna be on the parade tomorrow? I know you're one of our more lively members. You're gonna be the parade, right?
I'll go.
Well, you want to be?
It's not drunk boy. Drunk boy here. Why don't you go tap that keg, Screwy?
Yes.
Me too.
How about right now? Here you are, Queen Latifah.
How does honeycomb?
Good.
Good water.
Oh, the water's good too? Is there anything else that I can serve you guys?
I want a bagel.
Not that I don't have my hands full trying to get all this stuff together or anything. Right? They're bastards.
Hendrix.
Important thing at homecoming time. You must have, at all times, a little cooler with you, see? That's what we do. We take the cooler's in my hand, now I bring it over here. And we don't let anyone else know what's inside. Watch this.
Now, see, this here is the reason why you don't pass out.
Okay. Hello? On the hood.
Triple Ace Ventura. Stick your head out the window.
That's right.
Now this very Zabler color has a lot of skull right here. See this?
This is gonna say Zoo Crew.
It is. At least we hope
Unless
so.
Chris can't get the letters right like he did. Put the Z on backwards.
They better see what
It was
they
gonna
see on
say
the-
Sucru.
That's like me trying to do my paint. I always get that stuff backwards.
Hey, I got some.
Hello.
Hey, Ryan.
Hello.
See my puppy?
Hi, Toby.
Look at the camera.
Toby's our homecoming mascot. Yeah, that'll be perfect. We got Toby. Stick Toby throughout the parade.
Hi, Chris.
Oh.
I can't be cool
What are
down
you doing
there.
that for? Are you scaring him, Eric?
Huh?
You're scaring him. I know.
Already. See? I say we turn on our system.
Yeah, oh yeah, let's crank this. Here, what do you want to put on? Let's put on some good music.
Hillary, you can work on programming this. Let me check and make sure everything.
Are you gonna leave it on?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on for a little while.
All right. There's the girl.
After the parade, after we get out of this parking lot, I don't care what you do. And while you're inside this parking lot, no balls,
Just be good.
no beer, no pot. Okay?
Got it? Okay. We'll behave. We'll behave. We'll behave. Oh, I'm watching him. I'm watching him. All right. No beer. Ryan. No beer. You got it?
Here, let's see. You get with Hillary and you tell her all the stuff you want programmed.
It's recording already.
What'd you think of the contract inspection?
Fireworks. We got fireworks. It's out the fireworks, huh? It's out the fireworks today. What do you think about that, huh? Huh? Ready, come here. Huh? Hey, you bitch.
No, fight boxing.
No,
TV
no.
boxing.
Man, listen. Yeah, bad days. All right, it's homecoming, USF, 1995. We got Eric in his truck, looking great. We're ready to roll. We're ready to go right now. They put it. They won't let us have beer. No beer. What's up with that? No beer. No beer. Eat. Off.
Hey, is John coming? Hey, is John gonna come or not?
I don't know, man.
Who's that? Look at this one. Hey, get him film of her, dude. I want the black dress.
Yeah. Rocky is ready to go. He's sporting a good look today. I like that. Very sharp. Very sharp. There you go. There you go. It's over. Rocky, we were gonna put horns on him in your honor. But animal cruelty. You know? He wants to play tic-tac-toe with you on his hand. Yay! Movie!
Is my hair anywhere?
Go right. You the man, Rocky! There you go, give him a leg for it.
Yeah, Rocky.
Hey! Rocky's been coronated. That's true. Right here. There you go. All right, Rocky, we'll see you later, buddy. Chris Ray, shoot. It's already recording. Just you know.
It's recording.
Just shoot a little bit. Hey! You gotta know how to work that wide and tight with your fingers on the what do I need to do? What? See, now Chris.
For the dog?
What? Yeah. Little do they know.
No beer.
What little do they know?
Ryan?
You know, they say
Anybody want a white
they
leg?
say no beverages, but see, secret, this isn't water in here, see? And I sneak it in, you know, you walk on the parade, got it in the belt, ready to go. Ready to go, baby.
Stay clear, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, it's on auto. Here. Okay. Chris, if you're gonna be in the back, do you see a green light on the bottom? You do? Now you're recording.
All right.
Yeah! Hit the ball. Static that camera towards in the head. You weren't even recording, Jay. Yeah, you weren't even recording. Now I'm recording. How am I doing all the recording? You people need to take. He's dead. Holy shit, these people. Yeah, my eyes are. What? Yeah, come on. I hope we don't run out of gas on the generator. I got spare.
Good thing. Our old car.
And everyone is here. We're all gonna hop out in a minute anyway. I just don't feel like it's only a temporary thing. That's me, bro. Go, Barb! Go, Barb! Go, Barb! Barb is fun. Jason, where have you been? Running truck. Get in as soon as you can. Talk to them and tell them. Who? It's already recording. Just hold it.
Here we go. We've got Eric Evanston and Erica Daly. How you doing, ladies, up there? Smile. Homecoming court, 1995. Yeehaw! Hey, it's the crew! Hey, here we come. What's that? The ski club. Hey, guys. All right, good job.
USF Water Ski Club. USF's loudest and most expensive homecoming club.
Hey, old pie, whatever. Hello! Rocky! And here comes the best looking girl. Isn't she gorgeous? Woo! The gorgeous people! Ooh, free stuff for the old.
You got a ball in there? Yeah. I got a ball. You got a ball? I'm gonna run out of cup. I got one.
There we go.
I got so many of them.
Look at the movies. Nice float. God, big bucks for that one. Woo! The dancers! They're very nice. Look at all the people went out for the parade. How are you? Hockey world. Uh-oh, the line dancers. Here they come down the line. I think they're dancing. Not really sure. They used to be dancing. Here they go. They're dancing. Wait, are they dancing? Woo! Hey! Get a free CD. Now here they go. Ready to move. copied our idea from last year. We did that last year. That doesn't even look and the bike club. There's some more of the court. Hey, we know them. Hello. Wow, that's a lot of beads.
Wow, look at that. A whole bunch. Didn't you know you put them? I know.
Ah, the nurses. And here comes the good. Here they are. Here's the new crew. Everybody likes the new crew. And the cheerleaders, oh yeah. They love us. They will love us, I guarantee that. I hope. There she is. God bless her. Hey! Hey! Do you have the time? Yeah, we like that.
in action for you. There he is. Oh, yes. He's getting flexed. He's ready to go. He's ready to go.
Eric, I trust you, man. I trust you.
See? The little mobile keg. Oh, yeah, that covered it really good, Jace. That's not too obvious.
Definitely
what
does
that
not
is.
look like a keg to me.
No. I wouldn't think that that was a tap or anything. Not that that's a tap. All right. And the truck is being taken apart. Check to see if what else. Oh, I got my CDs in here too. Where are my CDs?
SAE and somebody else.
John. Go, John. John, have a drink. Hey, that was a good tug. That's what he's saying about.
Push the gray button. Front line was jerking the rope. Push the gray button.
Really? He was like,
oh, you're going?
yeah.
Am I on candy camera?
Yes, you are.
This is like 425 pounds, they said.
We did good, though. You know what we were against? The combination of SAE, who won last year, and Fido, the biggest Fido.
Right. You got a bunch of people that buy their free.
Cups. We got a cup. We got a cup. We got a cup in the back of Eric's truck right there. Look in the back. There's cups.
Where's the other one?
Ooh. Or do you not have any money?
This is Jason. The date is
Flop that
March
thing over here.
3rd,
Give me some camera time.
1995.
Give me some camera time. You got the green light on?
Yeah.
Not? They're not recording. Alright. Hello all. It's homecoming at University of South Florida. 1995.
Put your hand on backwards.
You know that, don't you?
Put your hand on backwards.
We just lost the tug of war to a team that was combined with SAE, who won, and who won last year, and Fidel, and they all suck. And we're really the best. And don't you forget it. Right?
Roger.
Don't forget. I kind of got a flat nose. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Big eye.
Biological systems can do work
I walk up there.
because they never reach equilibrium. Biological systems can do work because they never reach equilibrium.
He goes, well, I don't believe you, but go ahead.
That's statement number one. Statement number two
I think it is. That's where I was just.
is
Have them come over for our brewing.
that
Look at these guys. They want to be.
the rate of entropy production
What's his name?
Class.
Open yourselves up, you know? You can do that, man. You get to
Hello.
get
What class are you taking? I'm taking. What's your hardest class you have right now?
Okay, you're gonna come back.
Economics.
All right.
Economics.
Okay.
Basic. Micro or macro high school? Who's your teacher? Porter. Doctor. I had Dr. Green. She's terrible.
Economics is hard, man.
What are you learning about right now? What did you do last week in class?
Marginal revenue.
Marginal revenue. I have no idea what marginal revenue is.
So yeah, fill that up. Open that on up, man. We had come. Where are you guys?
We just did muscle.
What?
We just did muscle. I'm a biology major.
Everyone's out over there.
How long have you been talking to yourself?
Oh, not very long. Only about 20 minutes.
You go fill it up, man. We got an ice house right here, right in the fucking keg. Here we go. Get some cups for these guys, man. We'll set death row up.
Brian.
We'll set death row up. Oh, we're gonna set death row up.
Green light means it's recording.
That's what he got mad at? He called him
green light?
No, he said
John Campbell comes over, and he goes, you guys can't swear. I said, we're not swearing, we're calling him a fucking leprechaun. I'm like, come on, that's not swearing. And
fucking leprechaun.
yeah, come on, you know?
USF documentary on Subaru. Right, yes,
The Subaru documentary.
Yeah,
documentary.
Ah, fuck him.
It's just water.
I saw you guys in the parade today.
Yeah, how come you guys didn't get a float? You guys should have gotten a little bit
Yeah,
together,
why not?
you know?
We could have had like a guy
You guys should have
hanging.
come with us. What you should have done, man. We got this keg all day long. We had it.
keg on the float.
Oh yeah, no, we had it. We had it out by the library, out behind the library, hidden. Why do I keep saying the library? The bookstore. I know. Fuck it.
This is so good. Hey, a keg.
Really?
He's like 450 and 180. Yeah, but it's Division 2. They've been Division 2.
Is that what they are? The team they were playing.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, what do you guys know about them? I know that they're 500. They're 15. They're 13 and 13.
16 and 16, I think.
How you shut this thing off?
Maybe we can move up.
Right here?
Yeah, the best guy is 6'9".
Hell yeah!
Sure. The lights on.
Here we go. USF. No, don't let them see it. Last game of Zucru. Where's my hair? Ready to roll, baby. Woo! Yeah, move! Here we go with the signs. We got the signs. Ready to roll.
Joining his mother,
We got the beer on the floor.
in his second season at USF after playing in junior college, and he started in each of his 52 games as a whole, scoring 682 points along with 321 rebounds. Joining his parents, John and Sheila Robinson, a 6'7" forward, number 31. Playing in each of his 52 games at USF and starting in 33, he has 238 points, 138 rebounds, and 82 assists. Joining his parents, James and Kathy Perkins, a 6'4" guard. The fourth senior comes to us all the way from Tampa, where he is among USF's all-time top 10 in scoring average, field goal percentage, rebounding, free throw made, free throws attempted, field goals made, and one shot. He started in 79 games, scored 1,118 points, 618 rebounds, and his season as the team captain. He was joining his mother, Mrs. Jerry Hawkins, he is Jesse!
How do you like that for a Spirit Award, baby?
Again.
Right? Again. 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 We won the Spirit Award! What do you do now? I'm going to Disney World! Thank you! This is totally illegal. After I drink some beer. Totally illegal. This is totally illegal. I'm filming it up. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, we'll see you later, baby. Spirit Award winners. You know it's the Zoo Crew. I'm graduating. And let me tell you that I love you. This was me last year. This was me right out here. That was me.
Elise Dillman and Rita Maragos. Mackenzie Scorsese. Matt Emmerich. Jason Garcia, Rich Lorenzo, and David Quillen. The court was selected on the basis of merit, scholarship, activities, and achievements, and the candidates were addressed in three categories: their application, their interview, and student voting.
Let me tell you about something.
Was worth 30%.
It's not about homecoming king and queen. It's all about being the most spirited. And you know who the most spirited is, Jason? Who's the most spirited? Tell me. Me. Besides you. The crew, baby. The crew is in the house. The crew is in the house. Eric, put it up, put it up, put it up. This might just be the last cheer for me and the Zoo Crew. Coming up soon. Ready for sport? Ready? Let's go. I'm ready for my last cheer.
Right now.
I'm ready for my last cheer. Make sure the green light's on.
Summers and Jerome.
Wait, I want to be on here. All right, well, here, pass it. Shoot a little video. It's already recording. Just point it. What do you want me to do? Point. Just film. Shoot a little video.
Yeah. Hey, put it up there. Hand in there. Put it up there.
If the green light's on the bottom, you're recording. Is the green light on? You got the green light on? Yeah. All right. Just don't hit anything. Just point it.
David Delancey at the line.
I'll film that thing.
Shooting two.
Nice ass. I'll film that thing.
Yeah, boy, film it. No.
Timeout, South Florida.
All right.
Are y'all gonna run?
You want to take the last lap?
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Bobby Haskell would like to make a special presentation. The game call for his performance all season and especially for scoring 1,000 points on his USF career. Number 3 assist man.
Yeah, baby. Number 1, How about that crew, baby? How about that crew? Woo! How do you guys go? Okay, about 4.
Yo, what's up? The fat ass brick. The fat brick. Gotta bring in the brick. Need the brick.
Three-time captain.
Can Mom or John, can you shoot some video? It's already recording. All you gotta do is point it. The green light's on the bottom. Alright, we're gonna be right here. Let me see that. Bring the brick! Jason Miller! Over here. Okay. Jason Miller, present me the brick. Jason Miller with the brick. Now. To finalize the Zoo Crew here this year, we will make the ceremonial breaking of the brick. And what we want to do?
Right now, here they got a basketball game.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. How about that crew?
restaurant in your neighborhood that you had to go to 3 meals a day, and you were taxed to pay for it, within a week and a half, that restaurant would be serving cold hot dogs and rotten lettuce.
You know as well as I do, in a city like Washington, D.C., or New York, or Los Angeles, or you name it, $2,600 a year is not going to be the kind of subsidy that is going to ensure a lot of poor parents the real kind of choices that are available to upper middle class and wealthy parents now.
Actually, it can buy a whole lot more education privately than it can publicly. You know, here in Atlanta, it's as expensive to send a kid to Carver High School as it is to send them to Westminster. That $2,600 can buy a lot of education in the private system.
And Nancy, surveys have shown out here in Los Angeles that the $2,600 would buy an education in about 70% of the state schools. And also, many of the, particularly religious-based schools, offer generous scholarships to the poor right now. So $2,600 coupled with the scholarship of the school would buy a lot of kids a good education.
Yeah, but I think
you know,
this
trend toward privatization.
No, I think the competition is good for the public schools, because if a person with a voucher can go to a school, a public school, that is better, then the schools that are not working will have to clean up their act. They're the only ones, the only institution that I know of that have no accountability for the product that they turn out. They can have schools with low test scores, but the budgets are still going up, and that has to be fixed.
But Barbara, if the private enterprise can do a better job at half the price, why not tear down the Berlin Wall of education and let the people go?
You know, I won't say that we shouldn't do that, but I'm just saying that we should not just disregard choice, because in Milwaukee, for example, Polly Williams, she's doing a pretty good job out there with changing the school system. It ought to be tried.
Let's talk real quickly, if we can, almost out of time for this segment, about 2 women running in the 2 gubernatorial races this year, New Jersey, Virginia. Looks right now as if both of them may lose. Some of the conventional wisdom in Washington, and I'll pitch this one to Jane, is that they wanted so badly to look tough on crime that they didn't want to look soft like women or talk about, quote, women's issues, and so their own constituency of females has not flocked to them. What do you make of this?
This is not going to be the year in the woman, and as Barbara mentioned, the really amazing thing is that
what shall we call it, the year of the what?
Well, that Jim Florio, though, he couldn't have gotten himself elected dog catcher 4 years ago when he raised taxes. I think he's providing a model for all of those politicians that voted for the president's tax package, which was designed to add $1 trillion to our national debt. This is the deal, folks. I mean, go ahead, vote for the tax increases, vote for additional spending, and then quick, jump back to the middle of the road before the next election.
On that word, we're going to take a break. When we come back, a creative approach to try and get the guns off the street. Stay with us.
The main goal, of course, is to get the guns out of the hands of the citizens. Maybe this can start a nationwide effort to get guns off the streets.
A gun lying around or even tucked away in some home is a potential killer weapon.
If you'd like to give a special gift to a boy or girl 8 years old and up, get your pencil ready and write down this number, because I've got just the answer for you. It's National Geographic World Magazine, published especially for kids by the National Geographic Society. World brings real-life adventure, page after page of fascinating articles and pictures in National Geographic color. Young readers will have fun exploring Earth, sea, and sky, the environment, and ways to protect it, and enjoy articles on sports, hobbies, science, and adventure. World entertains while it fulfills curiosity, stimulates the imagination, and encourages your youngster to read more. It's amazingly inexpensive for 12 colorful issues of World magazine. Compare this unique once-a-month, 12 times a year gift to a single gift from a toy store, and you can see what a bargain this is. No shopping, no wrapping, no shipping. You cannot buy World magazine at the newsstand or bookstore. You can get it only through the mail, and it's so easy to order. Just call with that special child's name and address today. Call 1-800-257-1257. Each issue has exciting surprises, challenging games and puzzles, inspiring stories about other kids, plus extra-large pull-out pages. All this for only $12.95 for 12 issues. Plus, we'll include junior membership in the National Geographic Society. Your child will receive this welcome kit that includes a membership certificate, an ID card, a colorful iron-on emblem, plus the chance to compete for a $5,000 scholarship. And when you call with your gift order, we'll also mail a special personalized gift card from you. Call 1-800-257-1257. That's 1-800-257-1257. 12 colorful issues, junior membership, and the welcome kit, plus a card from you. This gift lasts a year. The benefits last a lifetime. Michael Crawford brings you the power and passion of Andrew Lloyd Webber. Set your spirits soaring with one of the greatest voices of our time.
The dawn was breaking, the world was waking in dreams.
13 of Andrew Lloyd Webber's most memorable songs.
It's so easy to leave me and say you'll share with me one love, one lifetime. Wishing you were somehow here again. The power of the music of the
Michael Crawford and the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Feel the power.
Call 1-800-257-1257 or send a check or money order for $16.95 for CDs or $10.95 for cassettes, plus $2.95 shipping and handling to Michael Crawford, P.O. Box 2919, Atlanta, Georgia.
Get a head start on your day with the latest news reports, business updates from major financial centers, sports scores from the night before, and weather forecasts for the day ahead. Daybreak gives you what you need to rise and shine. Weekday mornings on CNN.
Welcome back. We've got a few minutes left. Schoolyard shootings, youthful murders are now so horribly commonplace in America's capital city that children there are thinking about even planning their own funerals. So says a front-page piece in today's Washington Post, a piece that quotes one 11-year-old little girl as saying she wants to be buried in her prom dress. To fight that level of violence, a couple of American cities are trying a new twist to get guns off the street. In Chicago and now in Denver, people can turn in guns, no questions asked, and get free tickets to sports events in return. To Jane, is it finally dawning on city officials and governors, perhaps even Congress and presidents, that it can't be business as usual, that things have gotten too bad for that? Is this the sort of approach, thinking differently, that we may see in other places?
Well, if this is the thinking, I'm afraid we're all in for a lot more years of trouble, because the interesting thing that we need to keep in mind here is that it's against the law to sell a teenager a gun in every state in the union. So if, in fact, teenagers are enticed into turning in guns for concert tickets and they don't have one, I guess what we're doing is encouraging them to go out and steal one.
Oh, I think a few teens already have them, don't they?
Of course, Mary, of course they do. But we need more laws like the one in Colorado, which makes it illegal for a teenager to own a gun unless there are special circumstances, such as target shooting, things of that sort. And we need to enforce the law. We need to also remember that the problem is not teenagers with guns, but punishment. Well, and we need to remember that that teenager in Florida that killed those tourists already had 53 arrests, and he was still out on the street.
Let's let Barbara in. Go ahead.
If they're going to turn in the guns, let them turn in the guns at cemeteries. Don't take it out of the context of guns as sports, guns as entertainment. Let them turn in at the cemeteries where they can see what is happening to their friends. This is not fun and games. And teenagers caught with guns ought to go to jail, boot camp or jail. We have to get serious about this.
Well, it also proves that gun control won't work since it's already illegal for young people to own guns.
Exactly.
And it shows that I think that It's true that people will go out and steal a gun to turn it in for a fee. Where the government's tried this in other cases, that's exactly what happened. People would steal guns to turn it in and get the reward. And it shows that it's easier for a kid to get a gun than a concert ticket.
I think it also shows how naive the government is. President Clinton was out here in California, and he was asked how he would combat violence in L.A. schools, and he said the Brady Bill. And doesn't he know that we already have a 15-day waiting period in California?
So at least among you three, none of you think even if this gets guns off streets, good idea. We're out of time. We thank all of our guests for being with us today. Jane Chastain, Nancy Lord, and Barbara Reynolds.
For a transcript of this and many other CNN programs, send $5 to Journal Graphics, 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203, or call 303-831-9000.
Endangered species? I have a sick child to worry about.
You know, the willow tree gave us aspirin, Rosie Periwinkle treatments for cancer, and the octopus makes a chemical to fight high blood pressure. Fact is, there's something in nature for everyone. With countless species in jeopardy and more than 100 becoming extinct every day, can we really afford not to protect them? Learn more. Call the National Wildlife Federation at 1-800-824-WILD.
Olamont Tire Stores have provided quality automotive service you can depend on for over 38 years. We're not the biggest, just the best. Olamont has Royal Care services for cars, vans, RVs, pickups, motorhomes, and trucks. It's performed by Tampa Bay's finest technicians with state-of-the-art equipment. We offer Royal Care service needed to assure you long, trouble-free driving for the life of your vehicle. Take a short drive to your nearest Olamont location and receive our Royal Care treatment.
And a right from Holyfield. Unfortunate for Red that he won't have the best.
Xander Holyfield coming back.
With uppercut.
Something extraordinary.
Another uppercut. I'm the
So,
There are 3 ways to do that. Close loopholes, and close loopholes.
The panel offered up several ideas for new sources of revenue. Florida Tax Watch says it'd like to see simple tax compliance. How much money is out there in uncollected taxes? Well, according to the IRS, over $1 billion. Other ways to generate money involve business and sales tax loopholes and exemptions.
oh, this is my boss.
Race you got here, Sid.
Corporate tax.
Tinker's face.
Personal income tax.
The chances of an income tax. I got this thing
Don Henley.
Or the daughter.
What?
Right now we're from professional basketball because he has apparently tested positive for the AIDS virus. We take you then to Inglewood, California, and Magic Johnson.
First of all, let me say good after late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today. I just want to make clear, first of all, that I do not have the AIDS disease, because I know a lot of you want to know that, but the HIV virus. My wife is fine. She's negative, so no problem with her. I plan on going on, living for a long time, bugging you guys like I've always have. So you'll see me around. I plan on being with the Lakers in the league. Hopefully David will have me for a while. And going on with my life. And I guess now I get to enjoy some of the other sides of living that because of the season and the long practices and so on. I just want to say that I'm going to miss playing, and I will now become a spokesman for the HIV virus because I want people and young people to realize that they can practice safe sex. And, you know, sometimes you're a little naive about it and you think it could never happen to you. You only thought it could happen to, you know, other people and so on and on. And it has happened, but I'm going to deal with it, and my life will go on. And I will be here enjoying the Laker games and all the other NBA games around the country. So life is going to go on for me, and I'm going to be a happy man. Now, medical questions that you have to direct them to Dr. Melman, and he can answer all those questions for you. Anything concerning the Lakers and so on, we have Jerry West here, I'm sure. Of course, the league, you have our commissioner, who I want to thank. I want to thank everybody up here, as well as my teammates, because they've been behind me all the way. I want to thank Kareem for coming out, him and Coop, who we stood side by side and won a lot of battles. Larry Drew, another good friend of mine who I played with. But the commissioner, David Stern, has been great in supporting me, and I will go on and hopefully work with the league and help in any way that I can. I want to thank also Jerry West for all he's done, Dr. Curlin, Dr. Melman, who he'll tell you who my other doctors are that have helped me through this, as well as, like I said, my father, in a sense, Dr. Jerry Buss, for, you know, just drafting me and me being here. Now, of course, I will miss the battles and the wars, and I will miss you guys, but life goes on. Now, any other questions medical-wise, you can ask, like I said, Dr. Melman, anything with the Lakers, Jerry West, or anything with the league. If I take a few questions about myself and my plans.
Can you describe for us, this has been your life, Michigan State, the Lakers,
Emotionally for you right now, knowing that this part of your life is over, how do you deal with it, and how do you deal with mortality, which becomes more apparent with this virus?
Well, I think mortality is I always wanted to be, after it was over, just live a normal life anyway. And, you know, now my life will change, no question about it, but I think I'll still be a part of the game with working with the Lakers, working with the league, and as I do that, then I hopefully still own a team. Basketball will still be a part of my life. I told Cooper and Kareem, both of them, a while ago, that I'll be calling them to play them one-on-one, and we'll have some fun that way. I just won't be a part of the Lakers.
Can you give us a special message over your biggest fans, the kids?
Well, no question. For the kids, that's why I am going to be a spokesman for this HIV virus, because I want them to understand that safe sex is the way to go. I think sometimes we think, well, only gay people can get it, only, well, it's not going to happen to me. And here I am saying that it can happen to anybody, even me, Magic Johnson, it can happen to. So, yes, I will be going out telling them. I'll be speaking more to a lot of groups around the country about this.
When did you know? When did you know?
Well, Wednesday, so that's yesterday.
Can you give me any idea on how you acquired the virus?
No, we'll get into that medically through the doctors, okay?
How do you feel physically right now?
I feel really good. I feel great. A part of my life is gone, but my wife is healthy. That's great, and we're going to go on.
What are your immediate plans? You going to stay with the Lakers?
We're going to talk about that. Dr. Buster said if I want to stay, I can stay. I'll talk to Commissioner Stern here, and hopefully I'll be with the league too. But those plans I don't know right now. I'm going to take some time, just see which way I want to go. I will be still pursuing my dream of owning a team, that's for sure. And,
when did you take the test that are all NBA players supposed to take?
Well, I took the test only because of a life insurance policy, and that's what happened. And they kind of thought something was wrong. They didn't know quite what it was, so that's why we've been going through all these tests. And then finally yesterday, I can't remember the exact date, but it's been...
You talked about having the flu and all the other tests.
Right. They didn't find anything as far as anything in terms of the flu or anything wrong, but they just kept testing, you see. And,
New life insurance policy?
Right.
Have you had a chance to talk to your colleagues like Larry Bird?
Yeah, Larry called. I made sure that I called Larry, Michael, Isaiah, the guys who I'm close with, as well as my old teammates and my current teammates. And I talked to Coach Riley, a lot of people I've talked to already, just to let them know. Well, I think that everybody will be more careful. That's what I want to preach, and for everybody to understand that they just have to be more careful. Well, I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss coming in at 5 o'clock. I'm going to miss saying hello to the security people when I first get there, then the ushers. Then I get to see most of you about 6 o'clock. Oh, man. Magic, what about this? What about that? What about the team? I'll miss that. I'll miss the battles and the wars. But most of all, what I miss is the camaraderie that I had with the guys, being one of the fellas.
Have you ever been tested before?
Well, we've been tested, and it was negative before, so... You know. But let me say this. My mom and dad is fine. They're very supportive. My whole family. Just like I want everybody to be. This is not like my life is over, because it's not. I'm going to live on. Everything is still the same. I can work out. Now, I just be like one of the old timers in a sense,
What about the Olympics?
Yeah, my strength is fine. I can work out and do everything a normal person can do. I just have to, take medication and go from there. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
This is such a tough illness to deal with, or even virus. Are you scared right now?
No. If I was, what you have to do is it's another challenge, another chapter in my life that it's like being, your back is against the wall. And I think that you just have to come out swinging, and I'm swinging. Only thing I can do is have a bright side. If I slip, then it might be over. If I'm down, if it's out, I can't be like that. I never have been. That's why I'm telling you now, today. That's why I'm here right now. And that's why I'm going to be a spokesman for the virus, because I want other players to be tested, because I think they should, because A lot of people, if it hadn't been for that life insurance, I wouldn't have known. And just the everyday person, the same thing. And that's why I'm going to be a spokesman for it, because I think a lot of people should test themselves and know. Also practice safe sex, the whole thing. Now, I'm going to go and let the doctors or whoever else you want to have questions for. I've appreciated all of you. Mitch, we go way back. Jim, Stu Nahan, all the people that, when I first came in as a rookie, gave me all the good advice and helped me out, and I really appreciate that. Now you just have me on a different side now. You may be interviewing me in like Dr. Buss's office, so as soon as he move out, I'm going to move in. But I am going to go on, I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to have fun. Okay, so thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
Are there any questions for Dr. Melman?
Get out. Can you explain what exactly has happened to Johnson and how it affects his life?
Irvin Johnson has been infected with the HIV virus. He does not have AIDS. The HIV virus is something that over years can and does impair an individual's immune system, which is what we all have to defend against other illnesses. So there's no immediate effect on his life other than we have advised him to avoid those activities which can further impair his immune system, which is playing professional basketball. He is not, contrary to what has been stated, he is not and does not have AIDS.
So he played in the Olympics, Doctor?
The issue is very straightforward. Irvin Johnson has been infected with the AIDS virus. He is not ill in any way. ARC or ARC, which some people have heard of, is simply a continuum from the viral infection to illnesses that occur later on. He does not have that.
So, Doctor, how does HIV exacerbate the condition? Explain that.
Well, the rigors of playing professional basketball to include significant exhaustion on a regular basis, alterations of normal dietary and activity habits may impair an individual's immune system. And since this disease also does that, the medical judgment is for Irvin to not continue that. That is not normal activity that we describe in the everyday person. Very few of us go through what he goes through in the course of a basketball season, and that's the best I can say at this point.
What is the prognosis for a complete recovery from the virus?
The timeline of AIDS virus infection to further problems is now being described. Some people last a decade or longer before they get ill. Some people get ill very quickly. We have Irvin at one point in time in a very healthy state. There is no way to give you a prognosis that is accurate at this point other than to say that he is healthy now, we expect him to remain healthy, and we expect to have him around for a long time.
Can't play in the Olympic Games, right?
That's up to him.
What is the medical?
The issue of treatment is being examined at this point. There are a number of people that will be involved that will help decide that. And I suspect that will be known in the future.
What type of medication?
That is treatment.
What type of medication?
There are a number of medications available that can be used to treat the AIDS virus infection. In fact, we have Dr. Hayes from UCLA at the far left, and I think she is more qualified to address those issues if you'd like. And Dr. Hayes, if you had something you'd like to say.
Well, I have no knowledge of the kind of medication that Mr. Johnson is taking, but right at the present time in the treatment of HIV disease, the medications that we have are very important in prolonging life and making quality of life better. And at a stage when someone is HIV positive, at a certain stage, depending on other parameters that are measured, we can provide treatment that's helpful. I don't know enough about Mr. Johnson's clinical case because Dr. Melman is his physician, but So I don't know whether he will be taking any medication, but I can say for someone who's HIV positive, like Mr. Johnson, and there is a lot of options for treatment and help to prolong life.
Some of the Dr. Melvin, has Magic authorized you to discuss how he contracted the disease?
No. Yeah, the answer is that I don't believe we know at this point specifically.
Dr. Melvin, why was it released that he had the flu and obviously
He wasn't feeling well, and we were trying to investigate the situation. A lot of times in trying to define the medical status of an individual, we are not able to know by looking at them what is going on or what is the situation at hand. That delves more into his personal health, which I don't think is something that I'd like to discuss in a public forum.
Nick, in your case of HIV, don't go into full-blown AIDS, right? I mean, people can live with it for a while, right?
Dr. Hayes?
That's absolutely right. There are cases of HIV that go for many, many years before developing the symptoms of AIDS. And we don't really know how many years any individual can go once they become HIV positive. That isn't known and one can't predict.
But eventually they do develop symptoms.
We can't even say that because everyone who's HIV positive hasn't been followed long enough to know whether they eventually develop the symptoms. And we hope with the therapies that are available now, we may be able to very greatly prolong the development of those symptoms.
Is he on medication now?
He is not now on medication.
Have you considered ACP or DDI?
We will be discussing that with him in the future.
Could you speculate on the impact that somebody coming forward like Magic Johnson and saying he has HIV could have on the public perception of the disease?
I think what we have witnessed today is a courageous act by a very special man. He is not compelled by any legal descriptions or legal requirements to disclose what he has disclosed today. He is not a person who is invisible, and because of his presence, because of his potential impact on society, with a situation that is not only serious but for which we are all at risk, I think that he should not only be commended but held as a modern-day hero. And I hope that we, in our activities and the impact that it has on us, reflect that. This is a very, very special person and a very, very special admission.
I'd like to echo the doctor's statement on that. When Magic understood that he was HIV positive, this was something he very much wanted to do in terms of going public with it, because of all of the work he's done with kids, because of all of the work he's done with the community, and he asked for the support of his teammates, the Lakers, and the league. And I think what the doctor has said is true. Everybody said this is a very courageous, heroic person and a heroic act, and we all pledged our support to him in his effort to go out and work, especially amongst kids, in detailing, what has to be done and what precautions should be taken.
Dr. Melvin, where and when was the test administered, and where and when did you tell us that he was HIV positive?
I prefer not to comment on those issues.
You can't tell us when it was yesterday, that he found out, he said it was yesterday.
He's already described when he found out the final results, which was yesterday, and I think that's enough.
You can't tell us all his tests,
I have no further comments on that topic.
Can you tell me what this is going to mean to the NBA?
Really, I think what this means to the NBA is that another one of our really idols and attention getters has indicated that he's human. Something has happened to him which can happen to anybody. Everybody is at risk. And by invoking the NBA and his teammates and all players to deliver the messages that Magic is intent on delivering, I think that we can find something positive out of a very terrible situation.
Commissioner, do all teams test for AIDS, or would you like to see that?
No, Magic was tested in connection with an insurance policy all matters of testing are a subject to be discussed between the NBA and its Players Association. And that's the way we deal with that, and that's the way we'll deal with this subject. But for today, the emphasis is on Irvin Johnson.
Dr. Millman, was this discovered by the life insurance test or by the test you did in reaction to the latest illness?
The initial concern was as a result of tests performed as part of a life insurance policy, and then further studies and confirmation were performed by myself and with Irvin's consent.
Okay, without it being in life, can you give us just a time frame of that? When was the first test come back from the insurance company?
You know, I honestly don't know the date of that. I don't.
Roughly.
It's been over the last couple of weeks.
Dr. Millman said he was suffering from fatigue. What the symptoms were? Were complaints he may have had before the test?
I think in general he was just tired and not feeling well, and I don't want anyone to take away from that he is ill in any way, that it was not part of what we ultimately discovered. That was something coincidental.
Dr. Millman, what impact will this have on his participation in the Olympics?
That was asked earlier. I think the issue is that Irvin Johnson has not been advised to play professional basketball, and I think that the level of competition and participation in the Olympics is similar to that. And so I think that those are parallel concerns and restrictions that we would offer.
As you are part of the announcement today, will you try to
That's something we'll discuss with our Players Association. All that we're worried about today is Magic Johnson and the support he's asked us to give him.
Jerry West, what does this mean for the Lakers roster?
Well, obviously, this comes as a huge shock to us. I think when you're trying to find out the condition of a player, obviously you assume that player is going to be back. And to be real candid with you, I haven't even thought about it. Obviously, it's devastating for us from a personnel standpoint. And I think particularly emotionally, for a lot of us, it's a very difficult thing.
Okay, everybody, thank you very much.
And so Magic Johnson's doctors and his coaches and those who know him adding their comments to this thing. The doctor pointing out very, very explicitly that Magic Johnson has the HIV virus but does not yet have or show symptoms of the disease, that he is healthy at this point. The doctor's also saying, however, that it is unknown as to exactly how long one can go in this day and age with the medications available before developing further complications. Still smiling, remarkably poised, and showing clearly that he is not at this time scared, Magic Johnson came forth himself to make this announcement, saying, "It has happened, but I'm going to deal with it, and my life will go on." Magic Johnson saying that he now intends to become a spokesman for the HIV condition and for safe sex, urging all those for whom he is an idol to recognize that this can happen to anybody. We will hear from Jim Huber and more on the life and times of Magic Johnson when The World Today continues.
What's your favorite pass?
Johnson has a reputation for being as good a man off the court as he is on it. His annual exhibition game has raised $6.5 million for the United Negro College Fund. Johnson was scheduled to play for the United States in the 1992 Olympics, the first games to accept professional basketball players. He was married only 2 months ago to his longtime girlfriend, Cookie Kelly. Johnson was quick to say that his wife does not have the AIDS virus and that he does not know how he was exposed. He said he will go on to be a spokesman in the fight against AIDS.
I am going to go on, I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to have fun. Okay, so thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
Brian Rooney, ABC News, Los Angeles.
There is so much that will be said about this sad news for an American idol who is such an example for millions of people, especially, as we said, young people.
A lot of young kids, regardless of color, believe in him. It could happen to anybody.
no matter how much money you make, no matter where you're from.
I mean, he's one of them people that you'd say it wouldn't happen to him, just like it wouldn't happen to me.
Makes you think that this stuff really is out there. Makes you want to be careful in what you do.
And maybe now, because he's retired from this, people will pay a lot more attention to the AIDS problem.
I'm just shocked he has AIDS. I never knew a wonderful player like him would have AIDS.
He's still one of the best.
Maybe some good will come out of this, you know? He was a role model for kids for a long time.
I can't believe it. Magic's a completely inspirational figure to everybody from all walks of life, I think.
AIDS doesn't have a face. It's something that is here. It's something that we have to deal with.
Several years ago, when the actor Rod Hudson announced that he had AIDS, the effect was greater understanding of a disease which still frightens so many people. For Magic Johnson, there will now be the added burden of expectation. As horrible as this is for him, said one AIDS professional, it is good news for AIDS education. The number of teenage cases is still quite small, but among the young, the number is doubling every month, and no group is more sexually active. Magic Johnson and his commercial sponsors now have a chance to influence millions of adolescents, to tell them, as he said he would tonight, that this is a preventable disease. They can practice safe sex, but it can happen to them, as he said it happened to him. In a moment, the other news. The Democrats
made the other guys look good. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And this will force all of us to think a lot more carefully about the implications of this runaway epidemic called AIDS. To help guide us through it tonight, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the leading AIDS authority at the National Institutes of Health. Dr. Fauci, first of all, help our audience with HIV virus, testing positive. What does that mean for Magic Johnson?
Well, this means that Mr. Johnson...
It was magic, for he was that and just so much more. From his days in the 70s as an undergraduate at Michigan State, where he led the Spartans to the national championship, to just a month ago when he stunned Paris in an exhibition game with the Lakers, he produced from up an imaginary sleeve absolute brilliance. And because of that, he had an immediate impact on the NBA. He and Larry Bird came into the league on the very same day in 1979 and are generally credited with being the architects of the NBA's great rebirth. For openers, that a man 6'9" could play point guard was unthinkable. And to play it with the kind of zest that Magic Johnson nightly displayed took that a step farther into incredulity. With that dazzling smile of his, he would cut down the lane, put opponents on their seats, and pull fans off theirs. And from opening day a dozen years ago, basketball was never again to be the same. His Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA championship his rookie year, and they won 4 more in the decade to follow. He was the league's most valuable player in 1987, 89, and 90, All-NBA every season from 83 on, the all-time NBA assists leader. He had not played in any of the Lakers' first 3 games of this season, suffering from what the team called dehydration from the flu, which he reportedly picked up while in Paris on that preseason tour. Irvin Johnson, NCAA champion, 5-time NBA champion, but just magic. Very special man. Let's go back to the Great Western Forum in Inglewood, California, and our Michael Kamen is with the NBA commissioner. Mike?
A very, very special man, a very special basketball player. Commissioner David Stern came to Los Angeles today for this shocking announcement. Commissioner, we kind of have an idea of what Magic Johnson meant to the NBA. What does the loss of Magic Johnson mean?
Well, one of the greatest players ever to play the game won't be playing it anymore. It's been his decade. But even in this very sad announcement, as extraordinary as he is, he's put the positive gloss on the things he wants to do because he has tested positive and he wants to spend his time talking to kids, telling them that you can't pretend that this is something that isn't going to happen to you. But less on a basketball and more on a personal basis, this is a very sad thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He was such a special basketball player, but he was so much more than that. As an ambassador of basketball, you just saw what the crowds that he attracted in France.
Well, he is and will continue to be that. And it's our sense, although we're not expert in these matters, although we're going to learn a lot more now than we ever thought we would need to know, that the emotional surge that that the entire NBA family is going to experience in getting behind Magic and his efforts, both to talk and to fight this thing itself, is going to be important. And we're with him.
One thing that impressed me in this press conference with hundreds of members of the media here, he was probably the most upbeat guy in the room.
It's just more extraordinary Magic.
Talk about the personal side for you. You and Magic Johnson are very close friends.
I've never been commissioner without him, and there's just been nobody who has been willing to do for all of basketball, for media, for kids, for fans, any more than Magic has been willing to do, with good humor and patience and that twinkle in his eye. And it's extraordinary even today to see him here making this terribly sad announcement, telling the assembled media not to worry. And I just hope that kind of attitude is going to see him through some very potentially difficult times.
All right, thank you, Commissioner David Stern, who was in Los Angeles today for Magic Johnson's retirement announcement. We'll miss him as a basketball player, but as he told all of us, don't get the idea that we're going to miss him because he's going to be around. Jim?
Michael, thank you. Of course, the NBA does now begin to dust itself off, clear its collective head, and respond to the sadness. Former Lakers coach Pat Riley, who coached Magic for so many years, held a press conference in New York minutes ago. Others far and wide are offering their thoughts on him.
It's one of disbelief and shock, and we've all heard about the disease and the impact of it, and it's just unbelievable.
I spent some time with him in the summertime at home, and I was coaching in his 3-on-3 tournament over in Hawaii this summer, and got to be that was a big big thrill for me, and to hear something like what I heard today, so it's going to take a big toll.
Puts a lot of things in perspective. I think you all of a sudden you start feeling bad that your ankle hurts a little bit and stuff. It's really a tragedy. I mean, the guy is not only been such a great player, but he's been such a great ambassador for the game and everything else. It's just my heart goes out to him. I think all you can do now is just pray that he handles everything in the best way they can.
We all do that. The reigning NBA most valuable player, Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls, was reached at his home in Chicago today. To quote him, "I was shocked when I heard about it. I can't believe it. I have to have some time to think about it." We all do that. We will continue throughout the evening here on CNN to document this story, and of course, as always, wrap it all up for you on CNN Sports Tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And The World Today will continue right after this.
Every speak.
Will have an AIDS vaccine. For now, there are 2 drugs approved.
Disclosure and an adult mutilation. Getting fires at 2 churches in St. Louis.
One thing to get done stimulated. He's off in Rome, and people are here in the United States having trouble paying their bills.
Elements of Roston County.
Dawnej Narodowej Armii Ludowej NRD. Jak stwierdził rzecznik rządu federalnego.
A $300 per child tax credit. Expanded availability of individual retirement accounts, all to be paid for by future defense cuts. Benson sees an eventual compromise with the White House.
Well, I think after the election Tuesday in Pennsylvania, the administration...
The ring says...
More...
Thank you. I want to get a...
Global computer and communication.
But the halls of medicine viewed as the player he should have been coming out of college. That's beginning to change now, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I think Danny Manning is probably one of the more underrated players in the NBA. The reason is he's a team ball player. When you're on a losing team, a team ball player doesn't look very good. When you're on a winning team, a team ball player looks great. Hopefully this is the year that he looks good, because if he looks good, that means we're winning basketball games. He can do everything with the basketball, and he's an intelligent basketball player.
Of course, you have Charles Smith coming back. He's still on the mend. He had knee surgery. He'll be back probably around January, late December. So most of the team, and Polynice, of course, the acquisition from last year, most of the team will be intact by then. Perhaps you can turn things around. I want to talk about you with Atlanta.
Alphabet. Word.
Ever. Is Atlanta.
But I think what he showed there was a
a greater prize that can be earned from a person's stubborn commitment and defiant refusal to accept anything less than what they have to give. He's going to give the fight of his life to try to conquer this, and if there is a person in this world that has that kind of spirit and that kind of faith that could champion this cause, I think, as David Stern said, and Kevin Johnson said, maybe the good Lord said that this is the man that we need to make a point about this, and I think Irvin's going to be fighting right there.
Pat, thank you.
Thank you, Coach, for being here. Magic Johnson and his doctor did make an important distinction today. He does not have AIDS, not yet. He has become infected with the virus that causes AIDS. We have more on this tonight from NBC Science correspondent Robert Bazell.
Magic Johnson's condition, infected with HIV with no symptoms, is shared by about 1 million Americans. Unlike Magic, most of the others do not know they are infected. This is HIV, the human immune deficiency virus, magnified thousands of times. Once it enters the body, HIV never leaves. Over time, the virus destroys these white blood cells that fight infection. But people can remain infected with no symptoms for periods from a few months up to 10 years. There is no typical time. Eventually, because the virus weakens the immune system, people with HIV get various secondary or opportunistic infections, including pneumonia and certain cancers. Once people get the infections, doctors say they have full-blown AIDS. The secondary infections are what kill people with HIV. In the early stages of HIV infection, doctors usually give no medication. As the immune system weakens, some patients get drugs, either AZT or DDI, which can slow the progression of the virus. When their immune systems have even further deteriorated, some patients also get antibiotics and other drugs to try to ward off specific complications. But for now, HIV infection remains a progressive disease for which there is no cure.
So there's no way that we can give an accurate prognosis for Magic Johnson. Clearly, the hope is that a wonder drug will be discovered and before he develops the symptoms, and that's the hope for everybody with HIV.
Bob, he would not say today how he contracted the HIV virus, but tell us tonight about the involvement of the heterosexual community with AIDS in this country.
The fastest growing segment of the AIDS epidemic in the United States is among heterosexuals, and the hardest hit group is people living in the inner cities of the United States, mostly black people, and that's one of the reasons why Magic Johnson's amazing commitment to education could be such a powerful tool in turning around the epidemic, because it is mostly black kids in the inner cities who are susceptible right now. That's where heterosexual spread is taking place. Not that it couldn't happen elsewhere, but that's where the big problem is right now.
We've watched so many waves of the politics of AIDS. Do you think we'll have another wave here in some regard?
One hopes so. There's been a lot of charges among AIDS activists that there's been a lack of leadership, as you well know, from the White House, that people have not just said, this is what needs to be done. We need to stop talking about sexual education and really teach our kids what needs to be done to avoid it. One hopes that Magic Johnson will be the catalyst to make that happen.
As you watched him tonight, did you have a sense that he has a full understanding of just what he's involved in here?
Oh, I think so. He's a very, very bright man, and I think that he had a very good understanding of exactly what he's got and what he's up against, because I think that was one of the most moving things, is that he realizes full well that he's up against a big, big fight. But as everyone else has said, if anybody can win, he seems to be somebody who's going to set an example, which is also very important for everyone else.
Bob, I was so struck by the fact that people in our newsroom who don't really follow sports were mesmerized by his composure, by his eloquence, and by the magic of Magic Johnson.
He is a truly compelling individual, was as an athlete, was today as he began the transition into another aspect of his life. So we don't want this to be a eulogy of Irvin Johnson. As he said himself this afternoon, his life goes on now with redirected purpose. Still, this is the end of his athletic life, and we can't let that pass without remembering.
He took a game that had been played by a certain formula and helped redefine and then ultimately revolutionize it. Never before had the NBA seen a 6'9" point guard, yet Magic handled the ball as skillfully as the best of the little men. When injuries hit his team, Magic showed he could play all positions, even center, as he led the Lakers to a championship in his rookie season in 1980. In the years that followed, followed, his dedication to excellence was undiminished, his athletic integrity almost singular, the boyish enthusiasm, the personality that could light up an arena, the leadership, the eyes in the back of the head vision. There's never been a package quite like it. From the NCAA title at Michigan State in his sophomore year, to 5 NBA titles with the Lakers and 3 most valuable player trophies. We can say it out loud. This is the player of the decade. Maybe more than that. He may not play in Barcelona, but you can be sure he'll be there, coaching and inspiring. As compelling as his play has been, his legacy also includes scenes like this. From his annual benefit for the United Negro College Appeal, one of many charities he worked for tirelessly. And then there were the clinics with kids in the U.S. and all around the world. This one in Barcelona just a few months ago. He played with a flair and style well suited to the modern NBA. He was an 80s and 90s celebrity, but many of the virtues he embodied seemed to come from a Norman Rockwell painting.
Tonight, obviously, Tom, our main feeling is for Magic Johnson as an individual, and those of us who have known him realize what an exemplary individual he has been. But in time, when it is appropriate, and I imagine that will be in a short time, if he truly wants to be an educator, it will be appropriate for him, not in some tabloid sense, not in some inappropriately prying sense, but in some way it will be appropriate for him to discuss his sexual history and to address how he may have contracted AIDS.
If in fact he knows, and that's a part of the dilemma of AIDS as well. And as Bob Bazell said earlier, however he contracted it, there are safe sex conditions that everyone will have to practice, and they'll be much more aware of tonight. I think that the one thing I'm struck by tonight is we are all so empathetic for Magic Johnson is that he is one of the sports heroes who does not fall short of our expectations, as too many of them do. He only exceeds them, and as he has so often in the past, he has set the standard for behavior in the public life, and he did so again today under the most trying circumstances. I'm Tom Brokaw with Bob Costas, continuing coverage tomorrow morning, beginning with Today.
Good night.
This is the NBC Television Network.
Hollywood, The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. This is Ed McMahon along with Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra inviting you to join Johnny and his guests, Patrick Duffy, comedian Jeff Foxworthy, and the music of Animal Logic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Let me tell you, it's absolutely true. It's much more fun when it's free, as I keep telling Jimmy Swaggart. I said, Jimmy. Now, folks, if we rush through the show, you'll understand I got to get home right after the show. Tonight, there's a pay-per-view 12-round bout between Bette Midler and Geraldo Rivera. Have you been following that crazy goings-on between those two people? You probably remember in his book, Geraldo's autobiography, he claims that he and Bette Midler had wild sex, as he put it, something like 15 or 20 times. Bette Midler says she was groped, there's no truth to it, and she is going to sue him. Now, as a matter of fact, next week, Geraldo is doing a show, and he only has himself as guest. And the show is called Geraldo and the Man Who Loves Him. When do the albums come out? Doc and the band have got some albums coming up. You got about 3 different albums?
They're out right now.
They're out already?
Just coming out probably today. You can get them in the store.
Oh, how nice. One is called Merry Christmas, right?
That's right.
And it's subtitled, Buy This Album, We Lose the Gig in May. We'll talk about that later, because you're going to do some numbers from the albums coming up in the next few weeks. Good, okay. What's the temperature outside in the valley today? It is November. They're freezing back in Iowa and South Dakota. Are you from South Dakota? For you people who are freezing, you won't believe this. It was in the 90s here in Los Angeles today. No. See, here's the problem. If that weather keeps up, it's going to ruin the holiday spirit. I mean, who wants to eat a turkey who has died?
1979. It still ranks as the highest-rated college telecast, a game credited for fast-breaking basketball into the 80s. 14 months later, the Fates and Magic's skills again brought him an historical opportunity. Game 6 of the 1980 NBA Finals. As a rookie point guard, he played center. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was injured. Magic scored 42 points. He was the playoff MVP. The Lakers began the 80s with a title. Showtime was born.
How many more of these would you like to get under your belt?
About 20.
The Lakers became a dynasty, a fixture in the NBA Finals. Magic Johnson, their quarterback. 5 NBA titles. Kareem, the nominal captain, but the man they called Buck set the pace with his unnatural passing, his clutch shots, and the biggest intangible, his leadership.
He knows I made the right decision. Coop, I won't be there when I turn to my left or my right, and you won't be there. But I told him, I said, E, if you ever fall, I'll be there. And I know Magic won't fall, but I'll be his best friend always.
3 times the league's most valuable player, most recently 2 seasons ago, the only 3-time playoff MVP. The triple-double became his personal domain, double digits in points, rebounds, and assists. His rivalry with Bird, born in college, matured through the 80s into the sport's magnificent matchup. Once distant rivals, they became friends.
He plays the game like I like it to be played.
Is that why you finally became friends with him?
No, I don't think so. I think just getting to know him. And
last June's NBA championship was billed as a passing of the torch from Magic to Michael Jordan as the game's marquee figure. Johnson last year postponed marriage to his longtime girlfriend Cookie. They were finally married last summer. In a league replete with millionaires and egos to match, Magic Johnson is known for his good humor and cooperation. For the last 6 summers, his Midsummer Night's Magic, benefiting the United Negro College Fund, has brought together the game's greatest names. Magic's place in the Springfield Hall of Fame was assured long ago. The final grace mark on his remarkable career came 7 months ago, passing Oscar Robertson as the game's assist king.
If you're listening, Dad, I just want to thank you and tell you that I love you so much. And to Mom, thank you too. And the last but not least, thank you, fans, for coming out every night and supporting me.
Now Urban Magic Johnson, like over 1 million other HIV-positive Americans, faces the unknown of this disease with many more questions than answers.
A graphic look now at Magic's magical career. The most important number, of course, 5. Those 5 NBA titles to his credit. Last year, he passed the Big O as the all-time assist man. 3 times he was the league's MVP, the only man ever to win the playoff MVP 3 times, and once in the All-Star game.
Roy Johnson is a senior editor at Sports Illustrated and was the author of Magic's Touch, Magic Johnson's biography, which was released back in 1989. Roy joins us now from New York. Roy, first of all, I understand the sensitivity of the news that you heard today, but were you surprised at how Magic reacted to this? Is there a man behind the mask, or was that Magic Johnson?
Quite frankly, I was not surprised at how he reacted. I was interested to see how he would react. Clearly, this was a very emotional... Across the line.
Your desire. I'm coming up to one and more, but do you want to fight? Turn out the light. Come, let's make it right tonight. You're insisting, love is insistent. Come, let's make it right tonight. Hey. Follow the lamb, not a shaper. Because she are the woman man, we are the madman. She's like a patient in the doctor's stand. It's like a computer, so she programs. Don't tell the world she was a loving man. Lie to me, 'cause I know what you're needing. Your body can't lie to me, 'cause you believe you're sexually leaning. I don't know what this means. Kick it. Yo, check this. We have the remedy to the heart, we have the remedy to the brain, have the agony to the body to make you look for like a train. Remedy to the heart, we have the remedy to the brain, have the agony to the body to make you look for like a train. Say my love and you can't complain. Every night in your sleep and all out the ways. Like the blood circulate through your veins. This is the love that you have to obtain. Girl, me know that you will not pretend that, but now you woke up on the door, that lover away. Keep the love of a heartbreaker. Oh, you don't go tell it to the world that I'm a love. Lo 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 lo.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today. I just want to make clear, first of all, that I do not have the AIDS disease.
Have you had a guess with some of your colleagues like Larry Bird?
Yeah, Larry called. I made sure that I called Larry, Mike, Isaiah, the guys who I'm close with, as well as my old teammates and my current teammates. And I talked to Coach Riley, a lot of people I've talked to already. I feel really good. I feel great. A part of my life is gone, but my wife is healthy. That's great. And we're going to go on.
Reaction to Magic Johnson's plight continues to stream in from coast to coast tonight, from the kids on the playgrounds to those who confront the HIV virus on a daily basis.
The revelation today that Magic Johnson has tested positive for the HIV virus has sent out an important message to the American public. Not since the diagnosis of Rock Hudson has there been such a significant impact on our collective consciousness. First and foremost, it sends a message, and a very important message, that everyone needs to be tested.
He's one of them people that you'd say it wouldn't happen to him, just like it wouldn't happen to me.
Makes you think that this stuff really is out there. Makes you want to be careful in what you do.
And maybe now, because he's retiring from this, people will pay a lot more attention to the AIDS problem.
I'm just shocked he has AIDS. I never knew a wonderful player like him would have AIDS. He's still one of the best.
Maybe some good will come out of this, you know? He was a role model for kids for a long time.
I can't believe it. Magic's a completely inspirational figure to everybody from all walks of life, I think.
AIDS doesn't have a face. It's something that is here.
No, they do not. So we thought we would let him express himself in his own words and actions.
That's when I'm at my best, when I can just say, okay, I dictate what's going to happen here.
Magic is doing anything he wants to do out there.
My eyes get so big.
The Magic. Magic underneath right side of the goal. Slam dunk.
I want to sit in the crowd in a frenzy.
Wanted it, but Magic wants it more. Oh, what a play! Slam dunk! Maybe the play of the year.
I want to trick him so bad.
Magic with the spin. What a play! Magic Johnson.
Now here's Magic down the middle. Magic. Oh, no, look back to Ramblers who scored.
The pass to Magic. Under the Kareem slam.
Oh, Magic made the pass of the game.
You know, you're shaking, you're baking.
The ball. He's backing in. He's down the middle. He's going to the hole. He'll shoot it back in. Magic Johnson has it. Brings it up for the drive. Against Sellers. Down the lane to the hoop. Lays it in. Draws the foul.
You know, when you nailed a big shot, You feel like Clint Eastwood.
Magic to the dribble. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. Magic's 18-footer. Wins it. Has he ever done it before? You bet he has.
Pack up the uniform, get ready, because I'm going to knock it down.
Here comes Magic. He's got it. He throws it on the way for 3. Good!
You know, you're like the president. You know, you can do what you want. I've always led. I've never followed.
For the last time.
Taken by Magic. He throws to the other end. It went in! It went in! Unbelievable!
You know something, Irvin? The name Johnson would never have worked because through the years you've been magic. It's hard to believe there was a time we hadn't even heard of you, and then word hit the playgrounds that there was a 6-foot 9-inch guard who could do it all, had the whole package, a guard. And the memories, which will we cherish the most? Will it be the moments you and Larry gave us, beginning with the NCAA championship in '79? Will it be that moment when you won your first professional game and leaped into the arms of the big fella, and who still doesn't get goosebumps on that one? Remember when Kareem had to explain, hey, we've got 81 more games left. But there were 1,070 more games and thousands of oohs and ahs, and suddenly we all stopped thinking about putting our hands together for points and applauding assists. Remember how they laughed when you called it showtime? Hard to believe now, and nobody laughed at those 5 world championships. And remember the tears, the events we in our sports tunnel vision thought were devastating. The 45 games missed in '81, what a tragedy, we thought. In '89, going for another championship, the pain we all shared when you stood there unable to play, what a tragedy, we thought. The memories. How in the world can we thank you for the memories? I guess what we'll cherish the most is that spirit. Whoever gave you that gift, Irvin, knew what they were doing because it lifted us all during your basketball days, and it will continue to lift us. Thank you, my friend. We love you, and hey, call sometime when you need something. God knows we've taken from you so many times. And Irvin, keep smiling, pal. For you kids out there, no matter what age, it's okay.
Also averaged 19.6 yards per carry rushing that day.
Amazing.
So,
we want Randy Harris back.
yeah, we'll see what we can do about that.
Okay, encore performance, please.
Thanks, Bob. Tonight, developer Bay Plaza gets the go-ahead to demolish St. Pete's historic Sereno Hotel. City Council narrowly approved the developer's plan to level the building before the end of January. Bay Plaza says that by acting now, they'll save tens of thousands of dollars. The Sereno's destruction may also be featured in the motion picture Lethal Weapon.
In Korea, after 41 years, there is peace on the horizon. The Cold War there is finally ending. The leaders of North and South Korea tonight signed a historic accord, one that calls for non-aggression and reconciliation. North Korea will officially recognize the existence of South Korea for the first time, and for the first time since 1950, there will be peace along the 38th